Guys, I don't even know what to say right now. Has this been the craziest draft of my entire life? Yes. Have I somehow predicted every single pick? Yes. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Give me just a second. Let's open it up. We're back. Guys, what is going on? I thought this could happen, but the Chicago Bears have traded back up. And who did they select? Who was here when I was just live? I called the guy I predicted we would take tonight was defensive end Austin Booker. The Bears passed on him. They took a punter. A lot of people in the chat were mad. Something crazy happened right after that. I have no idea how this happened, but here we go, guys. The Bears have traded up and landed the guy I predicted they would draft, Austin Booker out of Kansas. He's 6'4", 240 pounds. He had 8 sacks and 37 pressures last year. This is a guy with an explosive first step, a non-stop motor that fits the hits philosophy to a T. Now, this is about him, okay? This guy is a pure pass rusher. He's 240 pounds. He's not stopping the run right now. He only has one career start. One career start. We traded it says it at the bottom of the screen. If you guys see the little thing I have scrolling, we traded a 2025 4th round pick. A 2025 4th. Next year's 4th. So we got Austin Booker. He's a perfect fit as a situational pass rusher. He already has an advanced collection of pass rush moves. His repertoire inside is nice. He can swim. He can spin. He already uses a cross chop move. He has long arms and a nice wingspan. He's a guy who has 33.875 inch arms, 9.25 inch hands. He ran the 40 in 4.81. He broad jumped 1,000, or he had a vertical jump of 32.5 feet, an RAS score of 6.88. So we got our situational pass rusher. Another guy I've never in my entire life as a Bears fan, I have never nailed 4 picks in a row like this. It's honestly kind of crazy. I don't know. You throw the punter in there too. It's been wild, man. It's been wild. I can't believe we got him. Dobbsy, sorry, man. Yeah, this happened. I saw the trade pop across the screen and I was like, holy cow. Let me throw a graphic together in 1 minute and go ahead and go live and tell the people what just happened. But yes, we've traded a 2025 4th round pick and moved back up into the draft and taken Austin Booker, defensive end from Kansas. What a night. We got our guy. Yeah, we got Booker. Jackson, let me ask you this now, because this is a guy. This is perfect. Hold on. I gotta come back for this. Hold on. All right, Jackson. Jackson Reed, my man. You were mad earlier when we took the punter. Now we've came back up and gotten the guy that I think we wanted before, Austin Booker. How are you feeling, man? How are you feeling? Let me know in the chat now how you're feeling now. Does this change your opinion? Does this change your guys' opinion on how you felt about the punter? We have extra picks next year. I don't think this hurts us at all. This is something I predicted all along. I thought we could trade up and get another pick in this year's draft. 2025 4th. Yes, we traded a 2025 4th rounder, and we have added our guy, Austin Booker. Yeah, there's still some centers there, too. I don't know if that's happening. Oh, my bad, Jackson. My bad. I'm sorry. I must have confused. A lot of people were in the chat. I thought you were one of the people that were not happy with us taking a punter. My fault if I got that wrong. Yeah, I thought you were someone that didn't. We need that 2025 fourth. No, we don't. We could be getting a 2025 third from Ian Cunningham if he leaves. We could get a 2025 fourth if Justin Fields plays with the Steelers this year. And we have 2 seconds. And I think we had 2 fifths as well. I liked Austin Booker. This was my sleeper at the position. He's not a guy that's going to start. Let me explain that with this guy. He's not a starter. He's not going to come in and push DeMarcus Walker. But he's exactly what we need. He's a guy who can get after the quarterback on third down. You bring him in on third and long, and he's a guy who can get sacks. He had 8 sacks without starting this year. He was not a starter. 37 pressures and 8 sacks for a guy who was not a starting defensive end. No, hey, hold on. No, Skip, he's not going to start. So no. He can't hold up against the run. He's not going to be a guy that comes in the game on first or second down. Think back as Bears fans, anyone who remembers the year we went to the Super Bowl, 2006. We had a rookie that year. He didn't start a game, but had 11 and a half sacks. Will Anderson was his name. Now, what was good about Will Anderson? He could come in and affect and get after the quarterback. Why did we make Will Anderson a starter? It ruined his career. This is a guy who is a situational pass rusher like a Bryce Huff. I love this pick. This is a guy who's going to get after quarterbacks, baby. This is the guy I predicted we would take. It's kind of crazy. It's just been a crazy draft, man. I can't believe it. Jackson, the reason why Will Anderson or Mark Anderson, I said Will Anderson. No, it was Mark Anderson. Mark Anderson. The reason why Mark Anderson fell off is because we decided after his 10.5 sack season that or 11.5 sacks, Lovie Smith was like, let's make him a starter when he was a situational pass rusher. So that's just something that only thing about him is RAS 6.88. It's mostly because this is something with the RAS a lot of people don't know. It's a relative athletic score. He would have scored a lot higher on his RAS if he weighed more. He weighs a little bit less. He's only 240. He's definitely undersized. That hurts, man. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to make a video on him. As soon as the trade was announced, I wanted to get back out there and tell you guys, because if this is the guy I was talking about, I thought it was crazy because I had just talked about him and he was the guy again I picked to be our pick today. And here it is, man. We got him. I just feel like it's crazy to be on like this kind of a level with Ryan Poles. Like so often throughout my life, like I've wanted someone and I've thought I've known who the Bears would pick. Randy, comments like this are just dumb to me, okay? I hyped up this player before we picked him. I hyped up Karana Megaji before we picked him. I hyped up Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze before we picked them. It's weird when people try to say, oh, you hype up a guy after we pick him. Yeah, sorry, but I hyped up these guys, all 4 and 5 of these picks I've talked about weeks and weeks before we picked them. So those kind of comments just are silly to me and ridiculous when I've said the exact same things about these 5 players specifically that we took well before we drafted them. And the videos are there. They're on YouTube. You can go listen to me talking about these players before we took them. I was talking about Austin Booker this morning. I had my graphic. Where's my graphic? I know I got it. Day 3 best available. And look who was number 2 on my defensive line up there. It was Austin Booker. Now, if Poles would have went out of line and taken someone that I didn't have on my list, and all of a sudden I would have been like, yeah, this is my favorite guy. This is my favorite guy. Like a lot of those other YouTubers and guys do out there. But I talked about these guys before. I've said the same things before we drafted him. So I don't appreciate the comments that are saying I'm switching it up when I've said literally the exact same things before this guy. There's been plenty of Bears picks in my life that I didn't like. Mitch Trubisky was the worst pick I've ever been associated with. I hated that pick with everything in me, but yet somehow in today's day and age, I was still labeled a truther because I supported the guy. I wasn't a big fan of the Kevin White pick. I wasn't a big fan of a lot of picks in the Bears history, guys like Dan Bazian and guys we've taken. But as far as Ryan Poles and what he's done, I'm sorry, guys, but there's not a lot of moves that Ryan Poles has made that I don't like. So I'm sorry. I love what Ryan Poles is doing. Even the Chase Claypool and Velus Jones moves that haven't worked out, I still saw what he was doing there and understand what he was trying to do. We gave up a 2025 4th round pick to come back up and get Austin Booker, the defensive end, out of Kansas, guy who's only started one game, but a guy who had 37 pressures when he only started one game. A guy who is a pure pass rusher. I mean, he had, let me see what he doing. Just absolutely explosive first step. A guy who is going to get after quarterbacks. And all we gave up was a 4th rounder next year. Yeah, I thought we were done too. I think most people did. But a 4th rounder next year to get a situational pass rusher, I like it. Trubisky's the 3rd greatest QB in our history. Yeah, and I rooted for Trubisky the whole time, but I didn't like that pick at all. I thought we were taking Deshaun Watson. I thought absolute worst case scenario, we were taking Mahomes, the guy with the giant cannon of an arm. But I thought I was 98% sure. See, this is the thing. Like this year in the draft, I was I think everyone in the world knew we were taking Caleb Williams by now. When Rome Odunze was on the board, I was 70 to 80% sure we were taking him. I was pretty sure we were going to make that pick. When we were on the board in 2017, if someone would have bet me money, I would have bet money that we were taking Deshaun Watson. That was one of those things where when you listen to Ryan Pace beforehand, if you listen to any of the comments that Ryan Pace made, he talked about getting a quarterback that would change the franchise, a quarterback who would all this championship talk. So I've disliked a lot more Bears draft picks in my life than I've liked. So this is something I just briefly wanted to point that out because yes, since I've made this channel, and I think that's one thing people don't understand. A lot of people will think I was just this huge Justin Fields fan or something, but I made this channel not after we drafted Justin Fields. It was a whole year after we drafted Justin Fields. I made this channel after we hired Ryan Poles because I love what he brings to the table, and I've always thought he was going to be different. His name was Mark Anderson, yeah. Oh, you must be behind. But I've disliked a ton of Bears draft picks, probably more than I've liked in my lifetime. A lot more. But over these past 3 years, things have been different. And that's what I've been trying to explain to you guys, and was one of the reasons I made this channel, is Ryan Poles is different. And I fully believe in his process. And when you see it, you guys the people who watch my videos every day, I don't expect anyone to watch all my videos, but the people who do, there's you guys out there, the Planks and the Bucks, people in the chat, there's a lot of you, Mitch Osborne, a lot of guys out there that watch all my videos. You hear me talk about these players and identify the reasons why I like them beforehand. And then Ryan Poles makes the pick afterwards. And to me, it makes me think that I just understand our GM. And I appreciate that, Skip. And in the past, I haven't done that. With Ryan Pace, wasn't on the same page with him. Wasn't on the same page. I didn't like almost all of his picks. I didn't like Kevin White. I didn't like Mitch Trubisky. I didn't like trading up for Anthony Miller. Didn't like that. Not a huge fan of so many of those picks. When you go back to the last GM I liked was Jerry Angelo, guy out there who I liked a lot of his picks. Charles Tillman. Tillman was a guy I loved the moment we took him. I met him at training camp during his very first practice. I was probably the only fan in the entire, anyone who went to Bourbon A back in the day, there was this one fenced in area that separated the fans from the players on both sides. And you can go all the way around to get to the other side. And Charles Tillman's very first day of practice, he was walking by. No one was saying his name. I go, Tillman, Charles Tillman. Looks over like, I can't believe someone knows my name. So, because, hey, Bears, there were training camps weren't as popular back then, but it's wild, guys. But I just want you guys to know I'm a huge fan of what Ryan Poles does. And yes, so far I have been a huge fan of almost every draft pick he's made. And this year was no exception. The fact that, and this is where you can prove it, though. The fact that I called Austin Booker the pick, I said it last night. I talked about Torrey Taylor last night. I talked about Torrey Taylor and Austin Booker before we made the pick. And then we draft the punter, and I'm like, dang, I missed it. We didn't get Austin Booker. Oh, well. I walk away. I'm getting a drink. And all of a sudden, I hear the Bears traded up. And then when I see that it was Austin Booker, like, my mind blew. Like, never in my life. This has never happened to me. And this is why I got to explain it a little bit. Never have I been like, oh, the Bears are going to take this player. And then the Bears took him. And then with the next pick, I'm like, the Bears are going to take this player. And then the Bears took him. And then I'm like, oh, the Bears are going to take this player or this player. And the Bears take him. And the guy they don't pick, they then trade back up and come and get. It's never happened to me in my lifetime. So I just feel like I've put in a ton of work on this. And the work pays off. And I feel like instead of making all those arguing with people on Twitter, dividing the fan base, and talking about Caleb Williams versus Justin Fields the entire offseason, I spent my offseason religiously studying this draft. And when Ryan Poles speaks, I know a lot of people don't watch those press conferences and stuff much. I rewatch those press conferences 5 to 10 times, and I listen to every word Poles says, and I really try to lock in on his thought process and what he wants. I can't believe Caleb isn't in the Hall of Fame yet. Hey, I appreciate you guys. I'm okay with the punter, especially after we come back up and get Austin Booker as well. This is a crazy draft, guys. This is easily the best draft of my entire life as a Bears fan. I think this is easy. He hit a grand slam with this one. I don't really have anything negative to say right now. I'm stoked. Yes, I'm stoked. This draft was crazy good. I would have been fine if we took Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze and then traded away our other picks. I would have been perfectly fine with that. But we got Caleb and Odunze. And then we got the third rounder that I identified weeks ago, Karan Omegaji, as a guy who can, I think he has as much upside as some of these tackles taken in the first round. So that's crazy. We got that guy, a potential starting left tackle for the future, a guy who's going to push Braxton Jones. And then we got a punter who in the NFL today, the field position battle really matters. And you have a guy that can flip the field and consistently put pressure on opposing offenses, back them up, and make them have to drive the length of the field to score on a defense that we already have pushing a top 10 defense. So I love that. And then we get the other thing I thought we needed, a situational pass rusher. I talked about it. I didn't think we could get a starting defensive end in round 4 or 5 today. I didn't think we could get that. But that's why I had Austin Booker on top of my list and a guy as my sleeper. A lot of draft places were like, they see he only started one game. You could get him super late in a lot of those mocks. But he was a guy, explosive first step. He is athletic, and he's a guy who has advanced pass rush moves. He can cross chop, he can spin, he can do swim moves, he can fight with his hands. He's advanced, and he's going to be able to get pressure on quarterbacks. He's a guy who right now, if it was third down, we had to play a game tomorrow, and it was third and 10, I'm putting him in right away across from Montez Sweat on a third and long. When you know the offense is going to pass, he can come out and play right now. Now, the thing he can't do is on first and second down, if the other team has a threat to run the ball, he can't be on the field. So that's his weakness right now, and that's what I want people to understand with him. He's not going to start. He's not a starter. Knowledge, I'm telling that. He's 240 pounds. He didn't even start at Kansas. He's not a starting defensive end. He can't play the run. If it's 3rd and 1, he's not on the field. If it's a running situation, this guy is not going to be able to be on the field. But the NFL is evolving more and more. You're right. I guess he can play the run, but he can't set the edge. With the Bears, you have to be able to set the edge if you're going to start at defensive end. So just like that, he's not starting for us. But the NFL is evolving into more and more of a passing league. And you have a guy that can come out here and get after quarterbacks and get sacks on third downs. Anytime it's third and long. How many times are there passing situations, though? And that's when he can come into the game fresh. He's not going to be tired. He's not going to be worn down. He's going to come in fresh, and he should be able, especially across from Montez Sweat, with Gervon Dexter on the line too. This is a guy who should be able to, again, make a difference. And you guys are saying the name I mentioned earlier, a la Mark Anderson, or even a guy, if you want to look more similar, look at the Jets last year, Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff got traded. He's not with the Jets anymore, but he's done the same thing. He was not the Jets starting defensive end, but he's been able to come out and put pressure on quarterbacks and get sacks. If you have a guy who can get 5 to 8 sacks a year and is not a starter, that's awesome. And that's what we need. And I think Austin Booker fits that bill perfectly. I think this is a perfect fit, perfect pick for us here. The only thing we didn't add, again, was a center. But like I said, I've said all along, I do like Coleman Shelton. But I do want a long-term center. He is a guy, if he beefed up to 265, maybe he could be a future starting defensive end. But for a year or two, this guy is definitely a situational pass rusher. That's what he is. My big board's wrecked now. Let me see. What do I have left on it? It got wrecked. After we made our last pick, it got wrecked, so I didn't update it. But we're just sticking with Booker here, guys. I've been live almost all day today, all weekend, honestly. And I had to break the news on this pick. I think most people thought we were done with the draft today. The Penn State kid is Hunter Norzad, yeah. If Hunter Norzad or Bo Limmer go undrafted, please sign me up. Please sign me up. The Eagles took Aeneas Smith. Someone was talking about Aeneas Smith earlier. I'm all in on Adams Connor Williams signing right now. Here's my thing with Connor Williams. Every time Adam mentions his name, I got like 20 people asking me for updates on Connor Williams. We're not going to know anything about Connor Williams for another 4 to 5 months at least. So I like the idea. I think Connor Williams was one of the best centers in the league last year before suffering the ACL injury. But right now he's just there's going to be no updates on him for so long that I know I'm going to spend the next 4 months answering Connor Williams questions every day, and it's going to drive me nuts. Hey, I agree with that too. I would trade a future 6 to maybe come up and get a center here. I'm not as high on this year's undrafted free agent class, but it can happen. No, I'm with you, Mitch. I'm with you on that. It's one that I feel like fans are going to talk about way too much because over the last 2 weeks, I've been asked that question every single day at least once. And if that continues, I'm going to end up hating Connor Williams, and I don't want that to happen. Drake Nugent's okay. I'm not a huge fan of him, but I do think he has some upside. If he was an undrafted free agent, I would take any of these centers as an undrafted free agent. I've been wanting a new center for so long. I just think we need more talent at the center position is only going to help. Definitely not going to hurt. Oh, you know what? Oh, man. Be right back. Going to wash my hands. What about Connor Williams? Oh, my goodness. See what I'm saying? I want to get Brendan Rice. I love Brendan Rice. I've said it all along. The fact that these wide receivers are still on the board, I wouldn't mind coming up to get another one. He's gonna eat safeties every Sunday with Taylor's. Oh, safeties, getting safeties on defense. Okay, I was thinking about the position safety. Appreciate super chat. He's gonna eat safeties with his punting. If he's able to pin guys inside the 5-yard line with his punts like that, and Montez Sweat and Austin Booker can get after it, that's definitely potential. We haven't had a lot of safeties since Adewale Ogunleye. I mean, I've only washed my hands once all day today. It's kind of more of a joke. It's something I would do during commercials of live streams of Bear games. But I do wash my hands a ton. I don't know if it's an OCD thing or whatever it is, but I wash my hands a ton. My hands are always clean. Probably wash my hands 20 plus times a day. It's just something I do. I do bite my nails sometimes, so maybe that's another reason. My hands got to be super clean. Swift is the greatest YouTuber of all time. B Shep, I love it, man. Appreciate you. Taylor can tackle too. Yeah, he actually can. He's a bigger dude. He's played rugby. Like, I do think he's a guy who can tackle too. Swift just feels dirty with all the stealing the Bears do. I like it. Don't we still have Dominique Robinson? The D-Rob's different. I mean, that's D-Rob's upside. But D-Rob is a guy who was switched from wide receiver and is still learning how to play defensive end. Booker's different. Booker has advanced technique. He just isn't big enough to hold up and set the edge in the run game. But he's a way more advanced prospect than Dominique Robinson when it comes to his potential as a pass rusher, chaining moves together, his ability to combo and beat guys different ways. I love that. Can we recap the trade? I think I have. Do I have I might have a graphic for it already uploaded. Let me check. Maybe not. I thought I did. I think I have one right here, though. I'll show it off here. Now, this will be, it does not have the punter added to it yet. I have not added our punter to this. But it's basically this plus Torrey Taylor is now the 4th round pick of 2024 at the bottom. So we got DJ Moore. Oh, switch number 1 pick to Caleb Williams. So we got DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, Darnell Wright, Tyreek Stevenson, Torrey Taylor, the punter, and still have a 2nd rounder next year as well for Bryce Young. When I think we could all say right now that we wouldn't trade Caleb Williams for Bryce Young straight up. We wouldn't trade Caleb Williams for Bryce Young straight up. No chance. 0 chance. But on top of that, we also got DJ Moore, Darnell Wright, Tyreek Stevenson, Torrey Taylor, and a 2nd rounder next year. But okay, I just wanted, so we made this pick on Booker. I kind of got way off track there because chat was being wild. Well, there was a couple people in chat being wild, not all of you guys. I love you guys. But we had a couple wild chats that sometimes I just feel I had to address. But we got Austin Booker here, guys. We gave up a 5th rounder in 2024. This is a guy with a nonstop motor. He definitely fits the hits philosophy. He has an explosive first step. He flies off the line. He was not a starter. He was a situational pass rusher who had 8 sacks and 37 pressures last year. He fits perfect for us as a guy who can come in on 3rd down, get after quarterbacks. He has long arms, almost 34-inch arm length. Let me check it again. Where's his RAS? 34-inch arms. RAS not as high as you'd like, but it's 6.77. The reason his RAS wasn't as high at 6.88 is because he's only 240 pounds. He uses a cross chop, great spin move. Yeah, 4th rounder in 2025 next year. Yes, sir. But I love this pick. Honestly, we've addressed pretty much every need except for maybe the center position, which I think we're probably fine at center this year. Next year, we're going to need another defensive end and a center, but I think Poles has done a killer job. This might even keep us from having to go out and sign a guy like Yannick Ngakoue. I love this move. Keep an eye out, guys. There's still some good receivers left. Malik Washington, Taj Washington, Brendan Rice. There's still some talent out there. I think, yeah, Clay Matthews was a situational pass rusher. Yep. Van Pron's still available. We still got a lot of centers out there. Yep. Also, yeah, that's another thing. Montez Sweat was our 2nd round pick. We got Keenan Allen with a 4th round pick and Ryan Bates with a 5th round pick. All 3 of those guys were added by trading picks as well. So add to the, oh, did Van Pron go? I stepped away before we took Booker. I had stepped away and I haven't really been watching, but I didn't see Van Pron get picked. Oh, he went to Buffalo. Nice pick. Javon Dexter, Booker, Sweat. You got to like that pass rush unit. Zach Pickens as well. Pickens is another guy who is better at getting after quarterbacks than he is stopping the run. Limmer and Norzad both still left. Ooh, hopefully all the USC wide receivers go undrafted. Hey, if even one of them, either one, if Taj Washington, there's no way Brendan Rice can go undrafted, right? He's got too much size. Jerry Rice's son, 6'3", 200 plus, good production, had a good Senior Bowl. If Brendan Rice goes undrafted, it's a crime. It's honestly a crime. But we still got punter hate going on. I think this should make people like the punter pick more because we were still able to come back up and get the pass rusher. I think Kramer just hasn't done anything in 2 full years now. I don't know. I think Brendan Rice, I definitely saw that he struggled to track the ball over his shoulder at times. He definitely had some drops. Miho, I see you, man. What a great day, bro. But I like Brendan Rice's game. Killer receiver. Let me see what we got going on here. The Kansas Comet is what they're calling Austin Booker. That's what Samo calls him. The Kansas Comet. Guy who flies off the line. A guy who can get after quarterbacks. I love this move. I mean, oh, Shaw Smith Wade. This guy was dominant at the Senior Bowl. Good pick here by the Panthers. His body can fill out. Yeah, I think he can easily go up to 250, 260. He has the frame to add to it. But I don't know if you want to lose that explosiveness. I kind of just want to keep him as a... Oh, well, he was the Kansas Comet. You're right. A little before my time, but yep. Oh, I'm of course going to be monitoring the undrafted free agents. Gabe Hall. Chad just mentioned his name right there. A guy I've talked about a lot. I like Gabe Hall. I like a lot of these centers. If any of those guys, Norzad or Bo Limmer or even Andrew Rame, any of those guys go undrafted, I'm fine. I'm cool without Unique now. I'm cool without him. We got a situational pass rusher, Logan Lee from Iowa. There's also guys like Christian Boyd, Leonard Taylor. Mekhi Wingo might have went, but he's another one. But after that, it is starting to thin out a bit. Yeah, I think Logan Lee did have a 9+ RAS score. Another Iowa guy. Hey. Mohamed Kamara went to the Dolphins. Let me see what he said. Excellent flexibility. Greg Gabriel says he ran slower than they thought he would, but he has real... This is on Booker, by the way. Real good quickness, excellent flexibility. He needs 10 to 15 pounds of good weight, but he has a lean frame, so he could get bigger than that. They like it. Booker, baby. There it is, baby. Austin Booker. Yeah, I could still see us maybe signing Unique Ngakoue, but I don't think it's as much of a need now. I definitely don't think it's a need. We have a guy that can come in and get after the quarterback. But, hey, it is what it is. People will be loving the punter by week 4. I agree with that, guys. I think by pretty soon people will love this guy. They're going to like him. Oh, no. Hold on, let me check something. Wow, did I not? I messed up. Okay, I was checking something. Sorry, guys. Quick. Goodbye, Guild, and your 44-yard awkward punts. Yeah, we're doing undrafted free agents tomorrow, guys. I just wanted to update you guys on this. I didn't want to keep you guys too long. I've already been streaming for so long today and messed up my stream anyway. I went off topic, way off topic. I could see us drafting the center next year. I appreciate every single person who comes by the chat. I love you guys. Great talking with you. I can't believe we got Austin Booker. I just wanted to chat it up for a few minutes, but I'll drop a few more videos. I'll probably have 2 videos out tonight. Hunter Norzad just went to the Chiefs. They don't even need a center. They don't need a center. I'm mad at that. He has the moxie of Caleb Williams as a punter. I said it. Generational punter. It could be, guys. It could be. I want to know the punter's length when punting from the red zone. And we're all getting the Caleb jersey, boys. All right, but I'm out of here, guys. Much love. I got more videos on the way. Might even do another live stream with the MODG, the Monsters of Gridiron, today as well. I appreciate everybody who came by. None but love to everybody. I'm out of here. Peace, guys.